Welcome to my channel, Takujozu. I'm Ash, and today I am going on a massive Daiso haul to one of the biggest flagship Daisos in Tokyo. I am taking the utmost opportunity right now to get a bunch of products that I haven't seen before, that I have in my collection already, you know, all that jazz, specifically for helping me organize and store parts of my collection, more so my manga collection. That's, you know, half of it's in the States. And the reason why I'm doing this is because there's not really any Daisos in my state, nor my neighboring states, and the products that I'm looking for that would help me organize and store some things in my manga collection, those products don't exist anymore on Daiso USA, or either they are sold out and have been for a long time. So more about the Daiso that I'm specifically going to. It is located in Ikebukuro, more specifically Ikebukuro Station, at the Ikebukuro Tubo department store. It covers the entire 6th floor, and it also has 2 subsidiary stores, like in conjunction to the Daiso store there, that takes up the entire floor. It's massive. Like, they even have maps on the floor at multiple locations, just in case you get a little lost and you don't know what to find or where to find your stuff. So that's really cool. They also have maps attached to just your little handy dandy hand cart and the little wheelie trolley cart too. So you're not getting lost in there, I promise you that. Well, you might. I don't know. I probably will, because I have no sense of direction. And I kind of forgot to mention, Daiso is a 100 yen store. It's kind of like the equivalent to the United States of like a dollar store, but I love it right now because the Japanese yen is less than the US dollar. It's like 75 cents right now, so that's cool. And then the subsidiary stores are like 300 yen and up, and I think the most it goes up to is probably around 2,000 yen, so that's like around $20-ish. The subsidiary stores that I keep talking about that are within the same floor of Daiso there is 3P and Standardary Products. They have more of like home goods and bedroom goods type of products that are there, and they're really cool. I'd look it up. Their products are beautiful. But I'm not there to buy from there, even though I would like buy one of everything if I could, but I can't, so yeah. Before I head on over there, because it's going to be a hot minute for me to get there, I want everyone to keep in mind that I might not be able to do a lot of vlogging in there specifically, because Daiso does allow vlogging, does allow pictures, but you can only take pictures of products and videos of products, and you can't really take, you know, pictures or videos of the whole store, and definitely not of people. So depending how crowded it is, I'm gonna try to get some really nice shots of stuff that I'm getting from there. I just really want to point that out, because I don't want to be that foreigner that's just like, you know, recording everything you're not supposed to. I don't like that. Anyways, let's go. This absolutely has been one of the best Daiso hauls I've ever had.
Woo!
I first got this catalog stand that was newly introduced in the spring from Daiso. I immediately knew I had to get it once I saw it because I do have a huge assortment of illustration books and manga magazines that I just don't really know what to do with, and they're collecting dust in the corner somewhere. I felt like this would be perfect for them, and there could be so many ways to utilize this stand on your wall, your shelf, or your desk that would be great for displaying whatever larger books, magazines, or whatever you can find to kind of fit in there. If you noticed on the back, there are holes for wall hanging, and there's also dividers you can pop out and use to divide portions of the stand if need be, which I think is really cool because, again, if you have smaller books you want to store or display, you can just pop them right inside there. So I only got one of these, and I do think whatever Daiso I go to next time, if I happen to see this magazine stand again, I'm probably going to get another 2 or 3 to use throughout my library since it's so versatile and honestly just really cool to add to the aesthetic. Lately, I've been heavily debating if I want to plastic wrap my manga, and well, here we are. It's because I move around a lot and I don't want to cause any more damage to my collection more than I have to. I got over 32 packets of clear plastic book covers in a variety of different sizes. I got the smaller ones for my Japanese manga, and I got A5 because it's more easy to customize and work with no matter the size. It's actually a pretty big plastic cover. And depending on the brand or type of plastic wraps that I bought, they do come in a range of either 7 to 12 individual plastic wraps. Let me just show you how versatile A5 size can be. For a light novel like 86, I didn't have to customize it at all. It was just as is and it fit perfectly with leaving a little bit of wiggle room from the top. For a typical size of an English manga volume, I did have to customize it by cutting about 2 to 3 inches of the plastic from the top, and I did also have to use tape to ensure that the plastic didn't come off from the inside. But no worries, it didn't actually touch the book, which I love, and it still holds pretty well. For a typical size of a Japanese manga volume, I didn't use the smaller plastic covers that were intended for Japanese manga volumes. I actually want to show you how versatile A5 size was, and I did cut a few inches from the top and where the cover slips in, but I think it still gets the job done pretty well. The same goes for these very thick Japanese omnibus volumes. Same process, same concept as the last 2 volumes I talked about. I do think the only con about doing it this way, since I'm cutting some excess off the top, is that there's still probably some chances it won't be totally protected, depending on the angle from dust and water damage. Keep that in mind. This is my favorite item I got from Daiso, and will swear by it and say that it's the best thing that you can have in your collection, and that is the manga display shelf. I personally think it's a holy grail find, specifically if you are in the US, because I heard that it's tricky to find in person at various Daiso locations, and it's not available on Daiso USA online. So trust me, while I was in Japan, I stocked up. I got like 12 of these. I still want more. I'm probably going to go back and get more because I can't ever have enough. They're so cool. One of the reasons why I like the manga display shelf is the fact that I can actually display my manga vertically in a very aesthetic way while optimizing as much space as possible for my collection. I think I mentioned it before in a TikTok video where it actually depends on the sizing of your shelf and the space across the shelf on how many manga volumes you can vertically lay across. And typically for me, it's around 22 to 28 volumes, again, depending on the actual size of the manga volume in that particular series. And with that, I can actually do 4 rows of vertical manga throughout my shelf, which roughly holds about 80 to 60 volumes in total. And for me, I think that helps with space and can cover more ground than the typical 1 to 2 rows of storing your manga horizontally. I've been venturing around different ideas on how to double stack my manga, specifically in a more cheap and affordable way that doesn't include me using Funko Pop boxes. No offense to those who do, it's just me personally limiting myself on buying Funkos in general. Anyways, this is the plastic display stand. It's roughly about 9 inches across, 3 inches tall, and super easy to put together. All you had to do is just take out the legs and pop them back in. To me, it looked like it was the perfect height for my shelf to be able to double stack my manga. But once I started to put some manga volumes on there, it was a different story. It started to buckle in the middle, so I suggest not using this to double stack your manga unless you have something to support the middle of the plastic stand. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Not gonna lie, I was a little irritated with myself with this idea, but I'm not gonna let these plastic stands go to waste because I did buy like 4 or 5 of these, and I have a few ideas in mind I want to use moving forward. I have a ton of acrylic stands that really need a home instead of just laying in a drawer somewhere, so I thought maybe I could utilize this in a way to display them in various different ways throughout my room. Same thing for my Ninjaroid and Look Up figure collection. I feel like these stands are definitely perfect for those and utilized throughout my room so everyone has a happy home and can be displayed, and I can enjoy my collection better this way. Moving on to these shelf displays, I specifically use these for my collection back in Japan for all my Japanese manga and thought I should buy a few more here for my Japanese manga collection in the US. I bought 4 of the handy bookshelf organizers, and I love that there are 2 different distinct options on how you can display your manga, specifically if you're looking to double stack. I will mention though, I struggled for 30 minutes putting these together because these directions, even though they're in English and in Japanese, were zero help. It reminded me of like putting IKEA furniture together. I chose option A for how I want to use these on my shelf. Option B was a little too tall for my liking, but I can definitely see how that option on these organizers could be useful for people who have shelves that have more depth and height to them. If you're going to use Japanese manga on these organizers, you can fit roughly around 7 to 8 volumes. I think that's perfect for what I have for my collection. That's why I like utilizing these so much on my shelves, because I just have a lot of series that I only have 7 to 8 volumes of. I'm not really sure how many English volumes you can fit on these organizers since Japanese and English manga volumes differ in size. TBD on that subject for now. I'll try at some point later. Is anybody else in need of an endless supply of bookends? Because I know I do. I'm always going back to Daiso for these specific bookends because they're so versatile. I love the color of them, and they're just a personal favorite because they never let me down. Or I should say a book down. Get it? Anyways. Believe it or not, I actually got 30 of these bookends. I know, I'm crazy, but I just love them that much, and they come in 2 in a pack. So essentially, I actually got 60 of these. There's just so many different ways you can use these on your bookshelves, and I'm going to show you exactly how I use them on mine. When I'm specifically using the manga display shelf, I like to use 2 of the bookends, one at the end and one at the front, especially when I only have a few volumes to display, and it holds them upright perfectly. And if you notice slightly, I actually used the little tong that isn't being used of the bookend to slightly go against the book that is sitting on the edge of the shelf to help hold it in place. And trust me, they never budge. It really irks me with my own collection when I don't have enough volumes I'm able to like double stack or even make a single stack across my shelves. But I do try to be strategic, especially when I use these bookends to help display horizontally a subset of series that I only have a limited number of volumes of. And when I do use the bookends for a setup like this, it's usually because I am trying to hide the subset of volumes or because I'm trying to create some type of dynamic display of my manga on a shelf. Now let me tell you that this is the first time I've ever used the top part of my shelf. I was a little bit nervous that the bookends weren't going to hold this dense amount of manga because I'm double stacking it, but it worked out perfectly. I'm actually using 5 bookends in total. I have 2 on the opposite ends and 1 in the middle for extra support. It's been like this for an entire month and nothing has budged or fallen, and I'm super proud it worked out. And believe it or not, you can actually use the bookend to display a single volume of manga. I'm using the shorter end of the book display to actually sit the volume upright, and it hasn't fallen at all for the past month. I kind of thought about this last minute, and again, I'm super happy it worked out because I just love how my Deku shrine is turning out. So I bought 10 of these book stands. They're specifically book stands for comics and or paperback books. I love that you can utilize them for double stacking. That is their main purpose, but the biggest con is that they're made of flimsy cardboard, so they definitely break easily if you're not careful. I've also learned that no matter if it's Japanese or English manga volumes, they are tough to have them stand alone at the top part
of the paper book stands without having something leaning against them to hold them in place. I know I didn't rate the other items, but I'm just saying if I had to rate this specific item, I'd probably give it a 3 or 4 out of 10. But don't get me wrong, they're still pretty useful, so I'm not tripping, especially when you're only paying less than $1 for these. I do have a few honorable mentions of what else I got from Daiso. I got these long bookends. I like to use these when I have a denser amount of manga to display, or if my manga is thick. These hold them in place pretty well. They're strong, durable, and just super reliable. Though I only got one of these, I think I might go back and get a few more. I just don't know what I need for sure at this time. I got 2 of these plastic cases that have sections in them, and these sections you're able to customize them. I thought this would be really cool and really useful, especially when you have a lot of figure parts to organize or just parts in general. Like I have a lot of Nendoroids and they just have so many parts and I don't know what to do with them. And I definitely don't want to keep them in the boxes because I store my boxes in different places. Anyways, I just need a better way that's more accessible for these parts. So I definitely think this is the way to go and a good item to have for that specific issue. Now don't judge, but in true Ashley fashion, I got something I don't really need right now, but I could use in the future. And that's these wall hooks. They're so freaking adorable, but I thought it'd be really cool if I could use these to display some keychains that I have that are just stuck in a drawer somewhere. So I'm just trying to utilize my space more smartly, you know? And lastly, I got 8 of these magnet swing cases. This is one of those instances where I just saw something and a creative spark had happened, and there are so many potential ideas I can use this magnet swing case for to create something and utilize a bunch of different things that I have honestly tucked away in my drawers for months and months now, and finally can have it on display. Some of those things are like pins, acrylic stands, and keychains. I really feel like you can put some type of decorative paper inside of there so you can place the pin safely, acrylic or keychain in there safely and have it displayed in such a cute way. Honestly, I could just ramble about how many ideas you could utilize this for different stuff in your collection. So if you see this in your Daiso, highly recommend. It's really cool to have.
So that wraps it up for the Daiso haul. I'm pretty ecstatic that I got a lot that I feel like is going to really organize my collection really well. I liked how things are turning out on my shelves. I still have a lot of work to do. I'm forever changing and coming up with different styles on my shelves to display my manga and other things. But yeah. I feel like there's still some stuff that maybe I missed out on and I'm probably going to go back and get. There's plenty of other big Daiso stores in Tokyo area. Like my favorite one is actually in Yokohama. And yeah, I know they just got a lot of stuff in there. I'm going to go back and get a bunch. Anyways, I think I'm rambling again. So I'm going to stop here. Let me know what you liked about this haul, if you're already using these products, or if there's any other product suggestions you have that I could probably use to organize my collection, or just want to put it out there for everybody else to know. Definitely, you know, comment about it or DM me about it. And yeah, with that, comment, like, subscribe, whatever these YouTubers like to say. And with that, until next time, bye!